Welcome back to Chen Design. Today I would like to talk about how to model this carry-on luggage and detailedly explain on each part for the modeling process. Are you ready? Let's get started. Before we start this video, I would like to explain to you the different type of the 3D model. In this case, it's called sketch model, which is ideally for the designer to do the rendering and present the design. Some of the part, for example, they are not Boolean union together. Those part, they are separate pieces, and some of them are just a surface. So this is not a 3D printing model. For the 3D printing model, you will need to make all the part stitched together. So this is intended for presentation. So that's starting from the scratch. First of all, you will need to find a carry-on luggage size. The one that I'm working in the template is millimeter, so I'm going to work in the inch size based on the image that I found. The length is going to be 15.4, and because it's a millimeter template, so I just need to type an inch here. And the depth is 8.7 inch. And the height is 20.4 inch. Don't forget to type on the inch, otherwise it will be just millimeter. So then we have something like this. Keeping a good habit, I always like to bring the model back to the construction plan, so it will be much easier if I want to do any change. Okay, so now we have this. We need to make the fillet all the way around. So I'm going to guessing 40, and this really depends on your design. I'm just modeling based on the aesthetic. So I want everybody on the corner. All the corner is rounded. So that's starting with the zipper. And again, it's a sketch model. We don't have to technically to build all the zipper part, but I would like to build at least something that I can assign the materials. And deciding how wide you want the zipper to be, so maybe something like this. Then I would like to project it to this surface, and then you will see there's a 2 line right there. So we no longer need this line. Let's go ahead to delete it. Alright, so let's go ahead to build the base. I'm going to create something more like a rounded rectangle as a profile, and I would like to build it on my right view. So we're gonna draw something like this and something a little bit rounded, and again I would like to bring this right in the center. Throughout the model, you're going to see me use this a lot. Is I try to align them while they are just curved. So let's move it somewhere here, and depends on how high you want it. And what we like to do is to making a surface. So I'm going to do is making a surface by sweep one rail, and you got rail, you got cross section, and we got something like this. All right. And then you can starting separate them in the different layers, so you can assign different material if you like to. So I'm going to creating another layer and just put this one into that layer, and then I can assign it in different color. So now it's easier for you to see which one is which. Okay, then we want to create something look like this a zipper is going to open there. So something imitate the look. We're gonna starting snapping here to here, going up something like that. And I want to creating either round or oval. We just want to have an opening there. So I'm going to trim it in between there, and let's go ahead to giving a little fillet. So I'm going to try something small, maybe radius, let's try 4, and snapping here, snapping here. All right, it's a little bit big, but that's fine. That serves what I need to have. So we're gonna join it, and again we have something. We can creating the surface as a profile. So let's use a sweep one rail, and again we want to pick up this rail, pick up this cross section. So then we'll have something like that. Notice that this is only the surface, is not solid, but that's okay. That serves our purpose. All right. So if you want them in different material, I'm going to do the keyshot rendering later on. So I know I wanted to change to other layer. and assign different colors so it's easier for me to see. All right, so now we have that part done. Let's take a look on the things behind. In the back, usually you will have an opening, and then I'm going to use the center, snapping anywhere that look like a center. And then I want to go to create something like this. Again, it depends on your design, like for whatever size that you want it to have. Maybe this is too wide, so I'm going to scale it down. Okay, something like that. And like to have everything nice and round. So double make sure that this is right in the middle. So make sure that type it 0 here. And then we want to use the fillet edges. So let's try something a little bit smaller. So the radius, I'm going to try something like 20 for the 20. And we want to bring it down. And depends on how deep they are. And all we need to do is Boolean difference this out of this one. Okay, so now we have this opening there. Now look at something like this. This is actually a good opportunity to talk about this. Do you see there's a darker line? There's actually two darker line right there. And if you see that, this is where it's going to cause the problem. Why? It's because this is a seam there. If you try to fit anything bigger than this edges there, and it will fail. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to fill it, and let's try something even smaller. Let's try 10. And I want to fit it all the way. And you see there's a lot of a tiny little piece. That is most of the time when you try to fit something and something will fail. Most of the time is in this case. And let me show you what I mean. And don't forget to click everything else. Okay. And we want to fit it, and it gives you something crazy. Actually, it looks like a wall E. It's kind of cute, but not what we want, right? So this is gonna cause the problem. How to avoid this is try not to have the seam over there. And the reason the seam over there, if you take a look on this piece, I'm going to pull it out a little bit. Do you see the darker line there? That is where that has the problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just simply just bring out something like that. You don't have to bring out that much like what I did. I just wanted to show you what they look like. You can bring it close as long as this seam is not inside. Okay, so let me show you one more time. We are going to maybe go inside a little bit more. And as long as the seam is not inside. So let's do one more time. We're gonna do the Boolean difference, this out of this one. And you can see much cleaner. Right? If we are going to use exactly the same radius for 10, and let's do Chen edge, and we click on all of them, it will select all the edges for us, and let's see what happens. Beautiful. When you have fillet issue, always checking on where's the seam. And I understand the fillet, I hate the fillet too. I think Rhino can do much better for the fillet. But also those kind of a problem can be eliminated by the way you model. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in a little bit, and we are going to bring this down a little bit. And what is this part is I don't like to have my two stick coming out from the body directly. I would like to have it sitting on something, right? So for this one, again, I want to do the fillet. I do not need the huge one, so maybe just like 5. And then we wanted to fillet the edge of here, here, and here. We actually don't need to fillet the place that we're not able to see, so probably something like this, right? So then you'll have some sort of a step in there. Maybe I want to move in just a little bit. Okay, it look okay. And I'm gonna keep it this in a separate layer, or I'm going to assign different colors so you see what I'm talking here. So maybe give it a blue color there. All right, so we got something sitting in there. The next one, let's do the handle. Again, I'm going to creating something with the arc, because if you have everything just coming out from the primitive shape, and then you want to fit it, even though you can do something like this. For example, I want something, the handle look like this, and let me bring this up here. And you can do the fillet more like a different radius. So if you do the fillet like this, let's say I wanted to go 5 on this edges. And you can actually add a handle. So if I add a handle right in the middle, and then I can making this for maybe 15. For something bigger, this one too, I want to do 15. And then you can have some fitted like this. So it's not bad, but it's still really boxy. All right, so this is one way to do the handle. I actually like to design a handle on my own. So I'm going to using the arc tool. And I'm going to snapping somewhere here and here. The handle need to be bigger than the space, otherwise gonna fall into. Or if you want them to be flush, you can fit it exactly into this space. Up to you, depends on how you like to do your design. All right, so one is like that, and I'm just going to mirror this guy to the other side for something like that. Okay, if you feel like this is too bump, maybe you want to scale it down. All right, bring back. Now this is one side of it. We can pretty much just close it with the straight line, something like this, and we can join it. So this is the profile that I wanted to see from the top view. Let me bring it to the top that you will see what I mean here. On the front view, I would like them to be straight on the bottom and a little bit curve on the top. So it's going to be something go like this to here and a little bit bump there. All right, so let's go ahead to align again right at 0. So now I have something like this, and this is depends on how high you want them to be. So I got 3 curve going like this. If you look at the perspective, they are like this. Even though they are not aligned in this direction, that's fine. I'm going to extrude this surface, and I'm just gonna pull it up like this. So now I have this surface, and let me move it down just a little bit. All right, and then I have those 2 surfaces. I'm just going to extrude it too. So now you have all those intersection. Let's go ahead to trim it. We're gonna select everybody. And we're gonna trim all the extra that we don't need. The one on the top, the one on the bottom. So then we will have a custom shape over there. And again, let's go ahead to join everybody. Now it is a solid. Then we can do the fillet. So let's go ahead to do the fillet. We don't need something really big. So let's try fillet edges for 3. And I'm going to select everybody and hit enter. Again, you can use the various affiliate if that works for you. Okay, so next things I like to do is, again, I want to separate them. The more you separate it, for me, if like you feel like there's more part in there, and it look much better. Okay, so and also for the demonstration purpose, I would like to show you as much as possible. So it's not really a design approach, but it's more on the tutorial approach to show you stuff. Let's go ahead to do radius for 6, and then I'm going to try if that look okay here, look okay there. All right, so let's go ahead to align those 2 right in the center, type it 0. And then I would like to have this one going somewhere in there. Just want to separate them into different material. Okay, so then let's go ahead to make it into the solid by extrude it. And now I have a 2 solid there. I'm gonna use this as a cutting tool. So we're gonna use a Boolean Split by splitting this guy with this cutting tool. So feel like nothing happened, but it is. So we are separate them into solid, right? One of them, I would like to make them a little bit shorter so I can assign different material and it will look nicer. So let's go ahead to use the 1D scale, and we want to scale this guy going down like this. All right, as you can see, now I have 2 things there. If you take a look on the render view, and then you're going to see that, okay, I got, you know, more of the layer, and It's up to you if you want to assign them to two different material. If you do, I would suggest you fillet the edges because it will look much nicer. Let me show you what I mean. Even though with something really small. So let's try radius for 0.5 on this big one. And so to pick up all the edges, you can use the Chen edge and you will pick all the way around. And the reason is picking like this in the section doesn't pick it automatically for you. It's probably because they are seamed there. So we're gonna pick up those and it will continue to pick up the rest, and you just need to make sure that it's select. Alright, and let's hit enter. Okay, so you can see in the render view it's look much better for this edges. For any of the object in our real life, it always has some tiny fillet edges. So it will make your render look nicer. Alright, so that's one thing. Then we also need is a button on the top. So I'm going to just simply creating a square for whatever the design should be. And I'm going to bring this guy up to our handle and make sure that you align right in the center. So we want to align vertical center. And then I would like to move it to the place I want. So something around there. Maybe there. Okay, and again you can decide it like how you like your button. Maybe you want to flush with the surface that you have, so we can simply just using the same arc and we can trim this guy there. All right, so once you got it open, just extrude it a surface crossover and using this guy to trim off this surface. So then we will have those to join together, then it will become solid. Again, we want to fillet edges everywhere possible. So let's go ahead to fillet these edges for maybe one here. And I don't need to fillet, you know, all of the whole piece. I just need to fillet the piece that is visible. So let's go ahead to try this one. Alright, so now we have a button there. We're gonna push it down a little bit. Take a look on render view and see if you like it. Okay, alright, so this is the handle, and you can make it more complicated if you want to, and I'm just gonna stop tweaking here. Alright, so now I have this guy and I'm going to move it on top of it. Look like the hole should have be smaller, or this handle should be bigger or something like that. Alright, so then the next things I need to have the two bar. The bar can be custom. I simply just wanted to do a cylinder, something look like this and about that long, and going to bring it down there. Alright, so move it somewhere right in the middle, and then I need to have another bigger piece by copy them. And the reason I'm doing that is again for the rendering purpose. I'm going to move those two pieces down so it's not sticky on the top, right? And I got the one inside, the one outside. If you looking at the render view, if you do just something like that, it look like this piece cannot go inside. It look like it's glued in place, right? So what I like to do is to using the Boolean difference, this blue box, it's going to be difference out from this bigger cylinder, and we'll get something like that. So once you have something like that, this look like it can go inside. And if you look at render, it look like it is a hole, but I would like to make it look nicer. So we wanted to doing a fillet. It doesn't have to be something big, but as long as you got something look like that, it is real. And two of them should be exactly the same. So I'm going to actually mirror that guy. So go back with the step. I forgot to mirror that guy. And then we're gonna do again for Boolean difference. This one out of the bigger cylinder, not a small one, the bigger one. So cut out two holes and do the fillet edges like this. Okay, so now we have the part on the top ready. And again, if you wanted to making a new layer, submitted this changing the layer, changing the color. So that way it's easier to tell and easier to render later on. You can do that. So that's what we have so far. Next video, I'm going to talk about the patch and also going to talk about the wheel. If you are a member, all the video will be published at once in a membership program, but will be published to public one a week. So come back next week to watch the part 2. We're gonna talk about the pad and also the wheel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next.